What's going on, everyone? This is Steve Larsen, and you're listening to Sales Funnel Radio.
Welcome to Sales Funnel Radio, where you'll learn marketing strategies to grow your online business using today's best internet sales funnels. And now, here's your host, Steve Larsen.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hey, so I just barely left, where was I? I was in Vegas. I forget where I go now. I'm traveling a lot right now. I'm going all over the place. I was home for a few days. Went over and traveled. I'm only home for a few days again. I'm gonna go travel again. I'm home for just a little bit, then I'll go travel again. It's all over the place right now, and it's been fun. I really do enjoy it. Missing the family a lot, actually, and but it's been really interesting. I had the very rare opportunity of watching Russell pitch, and so I was at Grant Cardone's 10X event, and it was a great experience. I got to go sit down and watch, and honestly, my favorite speaker was Grant himself. Okay. Besides Russell. And I'm going to talk about that in a second if you've not heard the huge news with that, which is pretty amazing. But I was sitting there and I was listening to Grant Cardone, and he was teaching amazing stuff. Absolutely loved listening to him. Super dynamic speaker, great guy to listen to. Got a lot of great things from other speakers as well. And frankly, the whole reason I went down to this event, okay, I was not planning on going to this event for quite some time. It was about a month ago. I remember I woke up one morning and I started thinking, I don't know why, guys, but I started thinking, you know what? I've spoken on a lot of smaller stages now. I've spoken on a lot of smaller stages and smaller events, you know, anywhere from 1 to 200 people, many times now, right? And several other events that when there's supposed to be more people and there wasn't, and there's a smaller amount, and that's just you roll with the punches, a lot of fun. But I started thinking, like, I want to see big people, really huge influencers. I've got to see them go speak on huge stages, with massive audiences, and see what they do with their energy. And the entire reason that I went to Grant Cardone's growth event, right, 10X growth event, I actually did not realize how big of a deal it was. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I didn't realize how many people were going to be there until I think the day before. Not even. I think actually it was. The day before I went down there was 8,500 people. 8,500. I have never been in an event that has been that big, that huge. I had no idea it was going to be that big. Which there was pros and cons to it. Obviously I'm a huge fan of obviously the pro of a smaller venue is you get a little bit more of the personal touch. However, the con is you may not get to network quite as much, or there's no way I'm going to meet 8,500 people anyway. But anyway, so literally the entire reason I went to this event was to go watch massive influencers speak to massive audiences. I've spoken enough on other stages. I've taught a lot on other stages. Obviously not just on Russell's, but a lot of others. And there is this vibe. Okay, each presenter pulls different energies and relationships out of the audience, and it's fun to watch. And they will match and they will mirror to the personality of the one speaking. It's always fun to watch. If you have ever listened to Darren Stevens, he talks about using universals and truisms, things like that, to bring the audience together to get them to do things that you want. I love studying stage, and I love studying stage presenters and what they do to actually control the audience. And they have no idea most of the time that that's what's going on. Anything from small NLP things down to the words you say, like the gestures you use, the stories you tell. Stage to me is an amazing performance. I have a lot of respect for it because of if you go watch a movie, they can do a million takes, but like on a stage, you got to be an A game the entire time. It's all in one take, and so it's super amazing to watch what these guys do. And it's honestly what I aspire to do. I want to go do that really bad, and I'm really pumped. So in a few days, I get to go speak in front of 2,500 people, and I'm so excited. It's gonna be over in Dallas, and that's the biggest group I've ever spoken to. And I didn't realize that actually is a lot of people until Dave Woodward told me it was. I was like, oh, I didn't realize that. I thought everyone's... Anyway, so I'm excited about that, and that's awesome. But knowing that was going to come up, I wanted to go watch this event, and it is the reason that I went. And I don't know what I was expecting, or what I was even thinking, but I wanted to show up and I wanted to go, like I said, to watch how these guys interact. And for some reason, I had it in my mind. I knew that Russell was going to go, and I knew he was going to pitch. Okay, and I knew that he was pulling off some very special things to be able to pitch to that many people. Okay, that is a skill set of its own. Okay, but I walked and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go, and I didn't tell him I was gonna show up for a while, and I went and I showed up and got to listen, and the shocking thing right from the beginning, I don't know why I was expecting anything different. It was like, I thought, well, there's got to be some extra thing that he's doing for that many people. There's got to be some extra, what is it? There's got to be some extra. I knew he was going to use the perfect webinar script. I knew he was going to go through, and I knew, that's what I teach guys in 2 Comical Coaching. I go through and teach you how to actually set up a webinar and get it going, which is frankly, it's one of the major reasons I left my job. I wanted to go prove out and show that that's actually something I knew how to do as well, not just teach it. I'm actually doing it, which I am, and it's great. And I'll keep accounting for what's been going on there in past, in future episodes here. But I don't know why I expected anything to be different. I sat down, and I can tell you that he used the perfect webinar script, just like he would anywhere else. And what was fun for me, because I love that script. That script has made millions of dollars. Like, I can think of very few other activities in my life that that are worth studying, that are that high leverage of an activity to go study, right? Than to learn how to pitch one to many, right? Instead of one to one, one to many like that. And so what I did is I started taking these notes, and Russell got up. And I was so excited, and I want to watch a master in his game, right? And I got to watch him do that a lot of times, sitting next to him face to face, or right at his side, or whatever, in his office. But it was always over a computer, right? Or it was always over, or there'd be these smaller stages I go see him present on, but never one that big. For some reason, I kept thinking that there would be this extra X factor, and I can tell you, I even wrote small audience versus large audience equals the same. I don't know why I thought it'd be any different. Okay. And there was a few things though, little extra flares, right? Little extra thing. I mean, he's been doing it so long. I mean, how can you do it truly 100% the same every single time? There's little tiny things that he did along the way that I thought were just brilliant. The little shows of mastery all throughout, right? And so I took notes of them, and I wanted to go through a few of what they are. There's one massive big one. I'm going to save it to the end. There's my little hook to stay to the end, okay? One massive one. There was a huge shift in what he normally does, and it was brilliant to watch it, guys. Absolutely amazing to watch it. I knew it was coming. I was excited for it. It's really, we'd studied that stuff before we got. Anyway, I remember it was right before I left. Actually, he had this huge memory hit him, like, oh my gosh, and. There's a guy who he did a pitch this way. Let me go find it. And like 15 minutes later, he had dug up all the pages from years ago and all the emails, and he was like, "This is it." And he went and he found it. It was amazing. He's got an elephant brain for marketing stuff. Absolutely incredible. So there's one major thing that he switched. Okay. There's little tiny phrases along the way that I continue to pick up on and put in my own webinar. And every time I do, I swear my wallet just gets a little bit fatter, and which is fun. And I hope you guys are doing those things as well. So anyway, this is a task, this is a skill set to just study and learn and obsess over. I don't know that I've actually told you guys this yet. I recently went and I took every one of Russell's webinar pitches, anything from funnel scripts, .com Secrets X, obviously funnel hacks, funnel builder secrets, any of the software secrets when he did that pitch. I grabbed every one of the pitches that I've ever seen him do. I ripped the audio from every single one of them, and I put them in this. It's literally 11 hours of me listening to Russell pitch, back to back to back to back to back, and I will just listen to it. Right, I've got it all together, and I will just listen to it. But it's boom, 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 one after another. Listen to. I mean, there's no other education that matters that much, in my opinion, than learning that skill set. And so I have no mistake that I'm obsessed over this process. I absolutely love it. I love doing it. This is the thing that for me to get better at, and it's where I've dropped my anchor. You know what I mean? For a long time, I just kind of ran around looking for different things to go do. Anyway, what I wanted to do is I've got Russell's Funnel Hacks webinar presentation, that we use in 2 Comical Coaching on one screen right now. Okay, then in front of me, I've got also a whole bunch of notes. And what I wanted to do is just real quick, just run through just a few little things. Some of them might seem tiny, okay? Some of them might seem tiny. There's one major one, though, and I want to go through what that is. I want to document it. He certainly will, I'm sure, because it's just freaking incredible. And if you don't know, he did over $3 million in an hour and a half. $3 million in 90 minutes. He had a 90-minute slot. $3 million. His goal a while ago was just to do $1 million in a day, right? Or even in just a year, right? It took him 4 years to hit that $1 million in a year, which is awesome. To hit that, like, that's huge. That's so cool to do that. And then he did it again and again and again and again and again and faster. The time getting shorter and shorter and shorter, right? Even the 2 Comic Cup coaching program, we did that in 3.5 weeks for $1 million. We did that, several times in a few weeks for, like, Expert Secrets book, things like that. And the timeline was getting just shorter and shorter, more and more compressed, and finally building up to this scenario where he did $3 million in an hour and a half, which is, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's so cool. I'm so excited for him, so pumped for him. I went nuts on Voxer, just screaming, and it's just, oh man, I'm so excited for him. Anyway, so I want to go side by side real quick here. If you study the Funnel Hacks webinar, the Funnel Hacks presentation, that, like I said, this is like the highest leverage stuff I believe you could ever go study, that will pay you and pay you and pay you and pay you, and to learn how to do this stuff. Now, I understand. I know there are other ways to pitch. I know there are other scripts. I know there are other formats. Okay, but this one is doing amazing. Okay, why change what works? And I've been going back through, and I'm sorry, I've not actually gotten to actual content yet. I promise I will here in just a moment. But what I've been doing also for my own webinars, I've been going through and I've been studying a lot of the big webinar people today, right? I've been funnel hacking Liz Benny and watching her stuff. Dan Henry, right? Obviously Russell. Been going looking at Akbar Sheikh. I've been going and looking at each one of their pieces, not just the pages, but inside each one of their scripts. How are they saying what they're saying? How does their slide say it? Are there certain things here and there that are changing? And it's been cool to go through and do that. And so the major foundation piece of my offer, that came from the market, right? I funnel hacked to a certain extent. I funnel hacked to a certain area, and then after that, I went and I made my offer. Okay, but the actual changes to the funnel, now that the product's done, now the product that I've been selling is totally done. Now I'm just focused on 2 things: the funnel. How can I improve the funnel, the actual buying experience and selling experience? Number 2, promoting it. That's it. Those are my 2 activities till I die, basically, right? Well, number 1, I'm really just focusing right now, especially on the funnel. I know there are things that are broken. I'm fixing them right now. We're getting those done, and very excited for that. But number 1 though, and then I'm going and I'm focusing on, how to sell this stuff, obviously. So I've been going through and I've been changing all these things. So my head has already been very much in this spot. That's the only reason why I'm trying to pre-frame what I'm going to tell you, that it's not, these aren't just like random things I wrote down. Okay. This is stuff that I looked at very specifically, that what he was doing, that I'm going to go through and I'm going to add. So, anyway, so at the very beginning, like in the Funnel Hacks presentation, one of the things that you do, right, is there's really 2 introductions inside of the perfect webinar. And I don't think people realize that. There are 2 introductions. Number 1, okay, you introduce the webinar. Okay, why the heck are they there? Right? Why are they there? If you've ever read the book Pitch Anything, it's one of my favorite books ever. It is definitely in the top probably 5 or 10 books I've ever read ever. And what it teaches and goes through is it talks about, like, every time there's something new that comes up inside of the brain, right? Or in your life, your head runs through all these filters, right? Have you ever seen, it's always funny. My wife and I went, I can't remember what movie we went to go see, but we went to a movie theater. We were sitting down in the movie, and the movie previews start showing up, right? The movie previews are showing, and there's these basically little mini stories, right? That are supposed to get you excited about the real thing. And it's always funny. Everybody becomes a movie critic at the end of a movie preview, right? And you always see everyone's heads turn to each other and go, "Oh yeah, we should see that. Oh, that looks great." Or you'll see everyone's heads go, "That looks weird. That looks stupid. That dumb, weird," right? And everyone becomes this movie critic. Okay, why are you bringing this up, Stephen? Because every time something new pops up in front of us, our head starts to run through a filter, much like a movie preview. We run it through a filter, right? Number 1, am I in danger, right? Needs of the body, right? Am I in physical danger? Can I eat it, right? Should I run, right? Fight or flight? Should I mate with it? Random stuff like that, okay? But there's these criteria that your head runs through, whether or not you're trying to keep you safe and keep you alive and keep you breathing, right? It's the same for every piece of marketing. It's the same for every piece. And unless you can get past the first part of that brain, you will not pitch that person. They will not make a buying decision, right? So there are 2 introductions to a webinar. The first introduction is introducing the webinar itself, right? And that's where, Russell says, hey, look, you're in the right place. This is where I'm going to show you how to do this without this. Here's my earnings disclaimer. Here's a testimonial of somebody else doing this thing. And he hasn't even talked about what it is yet or who he is. Okay. The second introduction is introducing him, right? Or me, right? I'm doing the same thing, right? I'm introducing the webinar very, very methodically. Number 2, I introduce myself. They got to fall in love with me now, right? This is those two. The whole reason for those two, especially the first introduction, is to get past that first part of the brain. Okay, so that they know, oh, I'm in a safe place. Oh, I can let the guard down. I literally have been saying that in my webinars lately. Guys, so feel free, just let the guard down. It's okay, let the walls down. This is a safe place and safe environment for us to all learn. I'm not here to, I can't remember everything I say, but without my slides here yet, I don't have it totally memorized slide by slide yet, like Russell does. Okay, but it's going in that direction. So there's 2 introductions. Okay, and the story. Okay, Russell used the story at the beginning, talking about the 4-minute mile, and he's just right off the bat, and the story is breaking and rebuilding beliefs. It's getting everyone on the same plane. That's actually a form of NLP, and he's bringing people, and especially from stage. It's very, very clever of him to do that from the very beginning, to begin with a story like that. Most people know that story, which brings a sense of community and bringing together, right? All those little things. If you read the book Launch, right, the 9 mental triggers, he is using those like crazy at the very beginning of that pitch. It's very crafted, very, very well. Okay. And he's going through, and that's what he's doing. Okay. So he's going through, and he gave this story about the 4-minute mile, and it was absolutely incredible. And he tells his own story, right? He's using an epiphany bridge. Oh, I saw, how cool would it be if I made $1 million? This guy made $1 million in a day, right? Oh man, what about, my 4-minute mile is what if I just made $1 million in a year, right? And so he's talking about his internal, his external desires. He's using the epiphany bridge script. Right. And now what we need to do is we need to see that this guy is not the only nutcase who actually had these results. So he goes through and he's showing that, because that's what the brain's thinking. He goes through and he's showing success stories of others, showing some video testimonials, right? He's using the exact same format and formula. But he very, very closely to the point. See, it was right after he introduced the webinar. Okay. Right after he kind of introduced himself as well. Okay. He goes into what he calls a price marinade. This is the major difference. For fear of talking forever and talking your face off, guys, and getting to an actual point of this podcast, okay? I'm going to go straight to the main idea, okay? We've been going for a little bit. I'm just going to talk about it, okay? Okay? He's going, and he does what he calls a price marinade, okay? And he's talked about this before, so I feel totally fine talking about it as well, okay? A price marinade. Now, what's a price marinade? Now, in a normal sales environment, it's very common, for a lot of times to withhold the actual price until the end, right? What is it on Funnel Hacks? Hey, right, his value on his stack is $11,552. $11,552, okay? Is this worth $11,552? Of course it is, right? If all this did was this, is it worth $11,500? And of course it is, right? And that's what he does. He goes through, and that's what he teaches. That's what he goes, right? So his stack is a total value of $11,552, okay? What you usually do, what typically happens in a normal is you withhold that information till the very end, right? And then there's a big price drop, a public price, and then another kind of final price drop because you're special and you're on the webinar today. Okay? In this scenario, he took that first part and he made it known in the very beginning. Okay, this is very key. This is very, very key. This is a huge deal, you guys. This is you don't pull this off without a lot of finesse, which obviously he has and he could do, very, very well. And what he did is he went for, and he said, here's the price. Before I sell you, before I have any time to break and rebuild your belief patterns, which is the rest of the webinar, right? To do the stack and to tell 3 more stories, right? Before I get a chance to do that, I'm going to tell you the price of this. It's a very interesting play. Okay, I feel like I'm going through and I'm talking about talking about and commenting on football plays from the Super Bowl right now. Okay, it's a very interesting play though to go through and watch a pitch man go and pull part of the price, the most expensive aspect of the price, and bring it at the beginning of the pitch of an hour and a half pitch. That's a lot of time for someone to get out of their seat and walk away. Okay. So it's how he did it that was very, very clever. And it's called a price marinade because you bring that price forward and you talk about it at the beginning and you bring it up first so that it marinates, the brain has time to get used to that price point, except that the price point you said is actually real, and say yes to it along the way. Is this making sense? I know I'm like going deep into the weeds right now, and it's not normal on my podcast to do this. Usually when I do this, people are like, oh, that was an okay episode. I'm like, nah, that was like the most gold I could have given, you know? It's because it's not wrapped in tons of story right now. That's what people might feel that. Okay, but understand what I'm saying. He brought the most expensive, the total value of a stack, and he brought it first. And he said, look, this is what he said. My goal is to show you, okay, that everything that I'm doing here, for you to be successful, you need to invest $11,552. Okay, that's about how he worded it. You see that? Is that okay? And he made everyone raise their hand. And he said, I think we raised our hand or we did something physical to attach to that verbal thing, where we said, yes, sir, Russell, I agree. It's worth if you can give me 10 times the results of my business right now, right? It's the 10x event. He tied in right to it, which is awesome. If you can give me 10 times what my business is doing right now, of course I'll pay you $11,552. Okay, this was masterful. Because he charged $3,000 for the product. But they've already said yes to a much higher price point. Now he has the entire rest of the quote-unquote webinar, right, live from stage, so in front of 9,000 people, or how many people are there? I think it was 8,500. He's got the rest of the time to break and rebuild the beliefs that are saying no to $11,550. And so he went through and guys, the way he crafted it was just incredible, okay? What's interesting is, Russell's following the path with ClickFunnels that all of us would be expected to follow as well. First, you write a sales message, you make sure it sells. Then you actually build the product to make sure it fulfills what you sold, right? Then you kind of go on the road selling it like crazy, and you're doing the same webinar to tons of people for a long, extended period of time. And that's kind of the road that I'm getting on right now, and I'm feeling that shift. Okay, in fact, I was talking to Colton, who you guys know is my buddy, and he's my first full-time employee, which we're very excited about, which will be happening here in a month or two, which we're very excited about. But he was already keeping me on track, saying like, dude, stay focused, man. Don't go getting on anything else. But I'm feeling that shift right now. I'm feeling the shift, and Russell was in the shift. The shift is, don't go build anything else. Just sell the crap out of the thing that you've proven, right? And you go and you start selling and selling and selling and selling and selling and selling and selling. And Russell, for the last little while, has done nothing but the Funnel Hacks webinar. Very few other webinars here and there that he's built from scratch. This one though, right? I think he built the majority of this one from scratch, and it was amazing to watch the template and the way he used the template of the perfect webinar script, and he took certain parts here and he moved other parts there, and it was neat to see what parts are malleable and what parts are not. And what's interesting is it's no surprise what's not malleable. Storytelling, that's not malleable. Okay, you tell your stories. You get good at telling stories. You want to know how to sell? Tell stories. You want to know how to market? Tell stories. At the very bottom line of it, without going into any other detail, marketing is storytelling. You know what I mean? You're breaking and rebuilding the way someone sees the world through storytelling, and that's exactly it. So he's followed that exact same thing. But this idea of the price marinade is how he was able to get everyone pre-framed for a lot of money, and then it was this insatiable deal when it was only $3,000. That makes sense? He's introducing a constraint. He's introducing a constraint at the beginning of the webinar. The constraint being, it's $11,000. Oh my gosh, I gotta go with $11,000. Holy crap! And then he's releasing it at the end. Okay, same thing when the Funnel Hacks webinar, he introduces the constraint, right? Hey, this is what ClickFunnels is. It's $297. For $297, you get this and this and this and this and this and this. He's saying that because that creates limits, that creates barriers, right? You get this many contacts, you get this many funnels, you get this many this and that. And he's saying that so that at the end of the webinar, he can release the constraint for his fast action bonus and get people to. So this was like loaded with tons of constraints at the beginning, with tons of constraint releasing at the end. That's why I was so freaking nuts and excited about the pitch that I was seeing. I was like, dude, you usually just put like one limiting thing at the beginning and then you release that constraint at the end. You put like 100 and you price marinade. Oh my gosh, what? And a $3,000 price point. $3 million in an hour and a half. Oh my gosh. Huge, guys. Hall of Fame right there in my mind. Should be in yours as well. I know that he's got this 2 Comma Club trophy, but they better come up with another award for what he just did. Okay, $3 million in an hour, that should be its own award. Okay, most of us are just trying to hit that in a much longer period of time. Anyway, it's pretty funny. You walk inside ClickFunnels, and he's got, I think, 17 or 18 2 Comma Club awards of his own, and 3 of them are $10 million products besides ClickFunnels. The dude knows how to sell. Mad props, my friend. Absolutely incredible. Very fun to watch that. I encourage every one of you guys to obsess like you would over sports, or obsess like you would like a hobby, over the act of pitching. Okay, you've got to sell. Everything depends on sales. Okay, don't think that you can be in marketing and neglect sales. They are different. The better marketer you are, the less hard sales you have to do. Okay, but you still have to learn how to sell. You still got to learn how to pitch. You still got to learn how to present an offer. Okay, obsess over these elements. These are the things. These are the dials to turn. These are the most high leverage activities for you to go obsess over and be and absolutely love. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys. I'm sorry if it was a little bit in the weeds. It's a little bit of a different styled episode than I normally would do, but I just wanted to talk about that and help you guys understand like why that was such a big deal. It was a huge deal on a lot of accounts, and my brain, my little marketing zeros and ones brain is just going nuts. Okay, that was like, I literally was about to end the episode, but I forgot of one other thing that you guys should all know about. One of the things I've struggled with struggling is the wrong word for it, but like, it is a challenge when you're face to face with people in an event to get people when it's time to go by to actually stand up, the physical action of them to stand up and go by at the back table or the back of the room or whatever. Okay, and the reason why is because they will sit there and they just kind of look at you. They're like, and they don't want to be rude because you're talking. So you have to give them permission to stand up, even though you just said, go to the back right now. There's order forms in the back. When they're gone or whatever, right? And you have to actually say. And so it's interesting to watch Russell. Two of the things here that I just learned from him. There was a huge, guys. And I hope that you are soaking this in. And this isn't annoying that I'm going this long, but it was cool to watch him several times when he got to the part where the actual, call to action came. He would be like, guys, if you can tell this is already going to fit you already, like stand up and go to the back, stand up and go to the back. Okay. Seriously, right now, stand up and go to the back. Okay. Get up, stand right now. Just get up and go to the back. And he kept saying it like that way. And then he would stop like in the middle of the stack. And because, I stood up, there was all these, he was super nice, and he talked about my MLM funnel in his presentation, and so all these people around me were asking about it, and I stood up to go down to the table, and they were like, you bought already. I was like, this is something to buy again. Okay. And I started walking down, and but he still went for another like 15-20 minutes. It felt like it was probably at least about 15 minutes. He wasn't even done with the presentation, and there was probably 1,000 people. He wasn't even done. That's what I wanted to come say. He was done. He was not done. And he kept going and going. And he was finishing the whole presentation, but there was already this huge mass of people in, at the tables, turning in their order forms like crazy, like hotcakes. Okay. And that's what I want you to understand and know is that, and he continued to say, stand up and go to the back. If you know this is a good fit you already, right? Oh, look at that. Those are the smart people are already at the back right now. They're standing up and go to the back. And he kept giving permission because people don't want to get rude. They're sitting there, they're listening to you. They're in this docile state, and you got to break that. And so he'll continue to say it over and over and over and over, getting them permission to come up. I've used that tactic in the past, and I made the stupid mistake of not continuing to say it. I kept talking afterwards, and some dude sat down after he saw that I kept speaking, and it pissed me off. And he didn't go by because he was trying to not be rude to me. Okay, well, that dude should have just went and bought. Okay, and I did not continue to say stand up, stand up. So when you're doing live events like that, continue to say get up. If you know this fits for you, get up. Keep going. This will be helpful for you. Get up. And then the next day, what he had was he was able to stand back up and give he was basically a re-offer. He like did a double close. It was really interesting. He gave away some really cool. He basically stood up and said, "Look, guys, I pulled $3 million out of the room. If you guys want to know how I did it, I've decided that I'm going to add my presentation and all this stuff that I did inside that inside what you bought. So if you're like on the fence, we're leaving later." We're leaving like in the next little bit. You have got to stand up right now and go to the back and purchase right now because I'll give you. And so he's adding these extra bonuses in. And I thought, like, how interesting is that? The guy is offer creating off the fly. Like, this is incredible. Just making it even better and better and better and better. Anyways, so he did this cool follow-up thing. I was thinking, like, how would I apply it to a webinar? And I'm thinking, if I can, there's going to be a cool thing where, like, I do some cool unadvertised bonus. Hey, look, if you're still on the fence, I decided to add X, Y, and Z in. And I think it'd be awesome. So anyway, I'm excited to go apply some of the things that I saw to the online webinar that certainly apply. And man, guys, I get more excited about Funnel Hacking Live than Christmas. And this was, like, the most exciting thing I've ever seen in my life. It was so cool. You guys call me a nerd. I don't care. It was awesome. All right, guys, talk to you later. Obsess over your thing. Don't let anyone else talk you out of working hard. Talk to you later.
Thanks for listening to Sales Funnel Radio. Please remember to subscribe and leave feedback. Want to get one of today's best internet sales funnel for free? Go to salesfunnelbroker.com/free funnels to download your pre-built sales funnel today.